We share a bed by tradition, but my alien roommate was in pain. The colony was bustling with activity, humans and aliens moving together, some carrying supplies, others talking in languages Liam could not understand. Liam tightened his grip on his bag and took a deep breath. This was his first mission as a cadet in the interstellar program. He was excited, nervous, and a little afraid. Everything here was new, the architecture, the technology, and especially the people he would live with. The shuttle doors opened, and a guide, tall and humanoid but with smooth, silvery skin and glowing eyes, greeted him. "Welcome, Liam. I am Nara. I will take you to your dormitory." Liam nodded. "Thank you." His voice sounded small in the vast shuttle bay. As they walked, Liam noticed the dormitories. They were not like Earth's dorms. The buildings were soft, rounded, almost alive. Doors shimmered slightly when touched, and everyone, humans and aliens, moved with purpose yet in harmony. Liam felt both awe and anxiety. When they reached his assigned dorm, Nara explained the rules. Each room is shared. Humans and aliens live together to build understanding. There is one tradition you must know. All roommates share a sleeping pod at night. This is a sign of respect, trust, and bonding. Liam blinked. "Share a bed," Nara smiled. "It is not a bed as you know it. The pod adjusts to both species. It is safe, comfortable, and necessary for cultural respect. You will learn to trust each other." Liam nodded slowly, unsure if he could. Back on Earth, sharing a bed with someone else was rare, and now he was expected to share it with an alien he had never met. His stomach tightened. Nara led him to the door of his dorm. The room was small but cozy. One side had human-style furniture, a desk, a chair, and a small locker. The other side had a glowing pod large enough for two beings. It pulsed softly as if it were breathing. "And here," Nara said, "is your sleeping pod. Your roommate is already here, Zirak." Liam's stomach jumped. He turned slowly. Standing beside the pod was Zirak. His skin shimmered faintly under the dorm lights. His fingers had small joints that moved almost independently, and two antennae rose from his head, twitching slightly as he looked at Liam. Zirak's eyes were dark and deep, but there was a flicker of caution in them. "Hello," Liam said cautiously. "I'm Liam." Zirak tilted his head. Words came in a voice that Liam could understand, though the accent was strange. "I am Zirak. You are my roommate." "Yes," Liam said. "It's nice to meet you." He forced a smile, though he felt awkward. Zirak nodded once and stepped back slightly. Liam noticed a subtle stiffness in his posture, like every movement was careful and measured. His antennae twitched again. Liam asked, "Are you okay?" Zirak's eyes narrowed slightly, but he said nothing. Liam realized that direct questions might not be the best approach. He nodded and decided to wait. Nara spoke again. "The pod is ready for you both. Liam, you should follow the tradition tonight. Do not worry, it will adjust to your comfort. You may want to discuss positions and preferences with your roommate." Liam swallowed. "Right, of course." Nara left, leaving Liam and Zirak alone. Liam looked at the pod. It looked inviting but strange, like a cocoon of light. He walked closer. "So, how does it work?" Liam asked. Zirak's voice was calm but quiet. "We enter. Pod senses our bodies. Adjusts temperature, support, and space. You must not resist." Liam hesitated. "Enter together?" Zirak nodded. "Yes, tradition is trust." Liam took a deep breath and nodded back. "Okay, let's try it." They stepped into the pod. At first, it felt strange. The walls shifted gently, molding around their bodies. Soft lights adjusted to their skin tones. Liam tried to relax, but he noticed Zirak stiffen. "Are you uncomfortable?" Liam asked, trying to be gentle. Zirak's antennae twitched. "Slight discomfort, not serious." Liam felt a pang of worry. He did not want to cause pain. "We can adjust. Move a little." Zirak hesitated, then nodded. They shifted slightly. Liam noticed Zirak curling into a careful position, keeping a distance in the middle of the pod. Liam tried to mimic his posture, giving him space. The pod hummed softly and the light dimmed. Liam felt warmth, almost like the pod was alive. Zirak seemed to relax slightly, though the discomfort had not disappeared. They lay in silence for a while. Liam tried to focus on the hum of the pod, the soft glow, and the quiet presence of Zirak beside him. He realized that this was more than just sharing a bed. It was trust, respect, understanding. "Do you sleep like this often?" Liam asked softly. Zirak's eyes blinked slowly. "Tradition, yes. Pain sometimes." Liam's heart sank. He did not want his roommate to be in pain. "Is there anything I can do to help?" Zirak's antennae twitched again. "Care enough, respect enough." Liam nodded. That was not much to go on, but he understood. Respect, care. He could do that. The pod shifted slightly, adjusting their positions for comfort. Liam felt the weight of the gesture. It was subtle but significant. He realized the pod was not just a bed, it was a tool for understanding and empathy. Hours passed. The dorm was quiet except for the soft hum of other pods. Liam listened to Zirak's breathing, or the closest thing to it, as it was slightly different from human breathing. He noticed every small movement, every twitch of the antennae, every subtle adjustment. Liam thought about Earth, about his friends and family, about the human world he had left behind. Here, on Orcs 7, things were different. Humans were guests in a galaxy filled with strange, intelligent beings, and the best way to learn was to listen, observe, and adapt. By the time Liam finally drifted into sleep, he felt a strange sense of accomplishment. He had honored the tradition. He had stayed close to his roommate. He had shown care. And though Zirak still seemed slightly uncomfortable, Liam believed that tomorrow they could try again. Perhaps they could find ways to make the pod more comfortable, perhaps even ease the pain Zirak carried silently. For the first time, Liam understood that being human meant more than just strength or intelligence. It meant empathy, patience, and the willingness to learn from others, even if those others were not human. Outside, the stars of Orcs 7 twinkled softly. Inside, a human and an alien shared a quiet, glowing pod, beginning a friendship that would grow stronger with each passing day. And for Liam, that was worth more than any adventure he had imagined back on Earth. The next morning, Liam woke to the soft hum of the dormitory. Sunlight filtered through the rounded windows, casting gentle stripes of green and orange across the floor. He stretched carefully, remembering how delicate Zirak seemed in the pod. The alien's movements were precise and careful, each motion measured to avoid discomfort. Liam watched as Zirak adjusted his antennae and flexed his multi-jointed fingers. The alien's skin glimmered faintly, catching the light like liquid metal. Liam had never seen anything so beautiful, but he also noticed something that made him pause. Zirak flinched slightly as he shifted his weight. "Good morning," Liam said softly. Zirak's eyes focused on him. "Morning, human." His voice was calm even, but Liam detected a subtle tension. The flinch had not been an accident. Liam tried to shake off the feeling. Maybe it was nothing, or maybe it was part of his roommate's natural movements. He didn't want to make assumptions. They dressed quickly in the uniform of the academy, designed to accommodate both humans and aliens. Liam felt awkward as he tugged at his jacket, noticing the way Zirak's tail-like appendage curled gently around his legs. Everything about Zirak's body was unfamiliar, and Liam realized he would have to pay attention to small details if he wanted to live with him comfortably. As they walked to the dining hall, Liam noticed other students staring at them. Humans whispered softly, and aliens observed with quiet curiosity. It seemed that many were not used to a human-alien pairing in a shared pod. Liam felt a mix of pride and nervousness. He wanted to make this work, not just for himself, but for the example it might set. In the dining hall, Liam poured cereal into his bowl while Zirak observed. The alien did not speak much, only nodding or tilting his head when something caught his attention. Liam tried to start a conversation. "So, do you eat like this at home?" Liam asked, gesturing to his bowl. Zirak's antennae twitched. "Home, far, food similar but different." Liam nodded, trying to understand. He realized that even simple things like breakfast could be confusing across species. He poured extra milk, careful not to spill, and watched Zirak as the alien cautiously sampled his own food. After breakfast, the academy schedule began. Classes were intense but fascinating: xenobiology, interstellar communication, and cultural adaptation. Liam found himself constantly glancing at Zirak, observing how he moved, how he responded, how he interacted. Zirak's small flinches, subtle stiffening of his body, and occasional mutters in his own language drew Liam's attention. During a break, Liam approached Zirak cautiously. "Are you okay? You seem tense sometimes." Zirak's antennae twitched again. "Tense, yes. But not dangerous, just discomfort." Liam frowned. "Discomfort? Is it the pod?" Zirak shook his head. "Pod helps, problem elsewhere, not pod, not your fault." Liam felt a surge of concern. He wanted to help but didn't know how. He realized that asking questions directly might not be the best approach. Zirak seemed private about his pain, and Liam didn't want to push. So he decided to observe. He noticed patterns. When Zirak stood for long periods, his posture stiffened. When he moved suddenly, he flinched. And when the pod hummed at night, some positions caused a visible reaction, subtle but undeniable. That night when they returned to the dorm, Liam prepared himself mentally. He didn't know how to make Zirak comfortable, but he could at least pay attention. They entered the pod, and Zirak curled into the usual position, leaving a gap in the middle. Liam adjusted gently, keeping his own body light and careful. The pod shifted to support them both. Liam tried speaking softly. "If anything hurts, tell me, I want to help." Zirak's eyes met his. "I cannot not fully culture pride personal, but I sense you care, that enough." Liam nodded. "Okay, I understand." He could feel Zirak's tension even through the pod. The alien's body seemed to stiffen slightly, and the antennae twitched as though signaling invisible discomfort. Over the next few days, Liam continued to watch, learning Zirak's signals. A twitch of the antennae meant sudden pain. A slight curl of the fingers meant fatigue. A low hum or mutter in Zirak's language meant stress. Liam began to anticipate these signs and adjusted his own position, trying not to cause additional discomfort. Outside the pod, life at the academy was challenging. Training exercises were designed for humans and aliens alike. Liam was strong, fast, and clever, but Zirak moved with a grace and precision that humans rarely matched. At first, Liam felt a twinge of jealousy, but soon he realized that observing Zirak's movements taught him valuable lessons about patience, strategy, and adaptability. One afternoon, during a simulated rescue exercise, Liam watched Zirak wince as he climbed a vertical wall. The alien's body was strong but still showed signs of hidden pain. Liam rushed to help, offering support and guidance. Zirak nodded in silent appreciation but did not speak much. Later, as they rested in the pod, Liam finally voiced what had been on his mind. "I see you, sometimes you hurt. I want to help. Can we try something?" Zirak was silent for a long moment, then spoke slowly. "Help maybe, care yes, but methods careful, must understand first." Liam nodded. "I'll learn, I'll watch, I'll try." The pod hummed, and for the first time, Liam felt a small shift of trust. Zirak relaxed slightly, the antennae less tense, the body less rigid. Liam realized that even small gestures of empathy could matter more than words. Over the following week, Liam became an observer, a silent companion, and a student of Zirak's movements. He learned when to speak, when to remain quiet, and how to adjust positions to ease discomfort. Zirak, in turn, began to trust Liam more, allowing him to help in subtle ways, adjusting cushions, shifting the pod's temperature, or moving a limb slightly to reduce pressure. One evening, Liam asked a question he had been curious about for days. "Why do humans share beds?" "Back on Earth, we usually sleep alone unless family." Zirak tilted his head. "Humans, family, rituals, sharing, trust, bonding, connection, interesting." Liam smiled. "Yes, bonding, that's what it's supposed to do, but I think bonding only works if you care about each other." Zirak's antennae twitched. "Care, yes, you understand human ways, but also alien ways. Respect, balance needed." Liam realized that the pod was more than just a place to sleep. It was a test of understanding, of patience, of empathy. It forced him to notice subtle signals, to respond with care, and to honor another being's comfort above his own convenience. As the nights passed, Liam began noticing more than just pain. He noticed joy, too. Zirak's subtle relaxation when a position was right, the soft glow of satisfaction in his skin, and the rare moments when the alien allowed a faint smile. Liam felt pride, not in himself, but in their shared ability to communicate without words. But even with these small successes, Liam knew there were challenges ahead. Zirak's pain was not just physical, it was tied to past injuries and cultural pride. Liam would have to learn, adapt, and innovate to help his roommate fully. One night, as the pod hummed softly around them, Liam whispered, "Tomorrow we'll try something new. Maybe it will help. I just want you to be comfortable." Zirak's response was quiet, almost a whisper. "Tried together, trust grows." Liam felt a warmth in his chest. Trust. That was the foundation of everything. And in a world filled with humans and aliens where traditions could seem strange and confusing, trust would be the key to survival, friendship, and understanding. As he drifted into sleep, Liam reflected on the past few days. He had entered this dorm as a nervous, unsure cadet. Now he was learning something far more valuable than training exercises or technical skills. He was learning empathy. He was learning patience. He was learning how to care for another being, even when that being was unlike anyone he had ever met. Outside, The stars of Oralia 7 twinkled, indifferent to the small struggles and victories within the dorm. Inside, a human and an alien continued their silent dance of trust, observation, and care. And Liam knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, he would face them with the same dedication and compassion he had shown so far. Because in the end, being human was not just about strength or intelligence. It was about heart, understanding, and the willingness to share even the most personal spaces with someone else. Someone different, someone unique, someone worth understanding. The next morning, the dormitory was quiet. Most students were already out for classes, leaving Liam and Zirak alone. Liam felt a mixture of curiosity and concern as he watched Zirak prepare for the day. The alien moved carefully, flexing his multi-jointed fingers and slowly adjusting his antennae. Liam had noticed small flinches and subtle signs of discomfort over the past week, but now he felt certain that Zirak was hiding something more serious. Liam took a deep breath. "Zirak," he said softly, "I've noticed you sometimes flinch, sometimes look like you're in pain." "Is there something I should know?" Zirak froze, then slowly turned his eyes to Liam. There was hesitation there, a flicker of worry. "Pain, yes, but private, not for human to see fully." Liam stepped closer. "I don't want to make you uncomfortable, but I want to help. If you tell me, maybe I can find a way to make things better." Zirak's antennae twitched nervously. For a moment he seemed ready to refuse, then he sighed softly, a sound almost like a whisper of wind. "Very well, partial reveal only." Liam nodded, careful not to show impatience. Zirak's skin glimmered faintly as he moved toward the pod. "Past, accident, training injury, spine weak, must avoid pressure." Liam's stomach tightened. A spinal injury explained so much, the flinches, the stiffness, the careful movements. He felt a surge of determination. "Okay, I understand. We'll figure this out together. I don't want you to be in pain." Zirak's antennae twitched in something that Liam thought might be relief. "Care human, unusual, good, must careful, pride cannot show weakness fully." Liam smiled gently. "We don't need pride right now, just comfort, that's what matters." Zirak seemed to relax slightly. For the first time, he allowed Liam to see more than just the surface. His posture remained cautious, but there was no longer the tightness of trying to hide discomfort. Liam could finally see the way the alien's body responded to subtle movements. The shifts, the tensing and untensing, the careful curling of limbs. That night, as they entered the pod, Liam tried a new approach. Instead of simply mirroring Zirak's position, he adjusted the pod's support system. He raised the central section slightly, giving Zirak's spine more space and reducing pressure. The pod hummed softly, responding to the change. Zirak stiffened initially, then slowly relaxed. "Better, not perfect, but less pain," Liam nodded. "We'll keep trying, we'll figure it out." Over the next few days, Liam studied Zirak carefully. He observed the patterns. Certain positions triggered discomfort, others eased it. Zirak's flinches, the low hums, the subtle curling of fingers, all became signals for Liam to adjust. He experimented gently, always cautious not to push too far. During one training session, Liam noticed Zirak wince sharply as he attempted a high jump. The alien caught himself on the wall, but Liam could see the strain in his posture. Afterward, Liam approached carefully. "Are you okay?" Liam asked. Zirak's antennae twitched nervously. "Yes, recovered mostly, but caution needed," Liam nodded. "I think I understand now. You're not just uncomfortable in the pod, your whole body has limits because of the injury." Zirak's eyes softened. "Yes, correct. Few humans notice. Careful, special." Liam felt a mixture of sadness and admiration. Sadness for the hidden pain Zirak carried alone, admiration for the alien's resilience and dignity. He realized that helping Zirak was more than physical adjustments. It was understanding, empathy, and respect. That evening, they returned to the dorm. Liam suggested they try a new sleeping position, one that would ease pressure on Zirak's spine. They worked together, moving slowly, testing each adjustment. Liam watched every flinch, every twitch of the antennae, every subtle change in posture. "This feels better," Zirak said quietly after a few minutes. "Less pain, thank you, human." "You're welcome," Liam replied, smiling. "I'm glad it helps." Zirak tilted his head slightly, a gesture Liam was beginning to understand. It was a small sign of trust, a rare acknowledgement that the human's care mattered. Over the next week, Liam refined the pod adjustments. He experimented with soft cushions, temperature control, and gentle support structures. Each night, he communicated with Zirak quietly, asking subtle questions and watching for signs. The alien's flinches became less frequent, and his movements more relaxed. One night, as they lay in the pod, Liam asked gently, "Do you ever talk about the accident with anyone?" Zirak shook his head slowly. "No, pride, weakness, not shared, only care from few." "You can share with me," Liam said softly. "I won't judge, I just want to help." Zirak's antennae twitched in hesitation, then he seemed to decide. "Very well, human listens, training exercise fell, spine hit hard, pain never same, adapt must, culture pride cannot show weakness fully." Liam nodded, taking in every word. "I understand. We'll adapt together. We'll make it work." Over the following days, Liam learned more about Zirak's habits and needs. He discovered that the alien's muscles were tense in certain positions, and that some movements triggered sharp pain in the lower back. By observing closely, Liam could anticipate these moments and make subtle adjustments. During meals, Liam noticed Zirak avoiding certain activities that would strain his back. During training, Zirak would pause slightly before sudden movements, preparing his body carefully. Liam realized that the alien's discipline was both a strength and a protective measure against pain. One evening, as they rested in the pod, Liam reached out gently to adjust a small cushion under Zirak's lower back. "Better?" he asked softly. Zirak's antennae twitched slightly, then relaxed. "Better, human, attentive, good." Liam smiled quietly. "We're learning together, I think we'll get this perfect soon." Zirak tilted his head. "Perfect, difficult, but effort important, care rare, humans capable." Liam felt a rush of pride, not for himself but for humans. Humans could observe, adapt, and care for beings completely different from themselves. They could bridge gaps that seemed impossible. And in that moment, he realized the essence of what it meant to be human, not just strength or intelligence, but empathy, patience, and the desire to help others even when it was hard. The nights became easier. Zirak's discomfort was still present but manageable. Liam had learned to read every subtle signal, every shift, every small sign of pain. And in return, Zirak began to trust him more, showing small gestures of appreciation. A faint glow in his skin, a soft hum, a relaxed posture. One evening, Liam asked, "Do you ever feel like you can relax fully?" Zirak's eyes softened. "Sometimes human, when care given, comfort possible, trust builds." Liam nodded, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction. They had come a long way in a short time. The pod was no longer just a tradition. They had transformed it into a tool for healing, trust, and friendship. The next day, during a practical exercise in the academy, Liam watched Zirak move with confidence. The alien still carried the hidden pain, but it was no longer a barrier to participation. Together, they worked efficiently, complementing each other's strengths. Liam's human adaptability and Zirak's precise movements created a partnership that drew attention from other students. After the exercise, as they returned to the dorm, Liam said quietly, "I think we're getting better. Not perfect, but better." Zirak's antennae twitched, a subtle smile forming. "Better, yes. Human observes, cares, learns, rare quality, good." That night, they entered the pod with a sense of accomplishment. Liam adjusted cushions, fine-tuned the support, and positioned his body carefully. Zirak followed the routine they had developed, curling into a comfortable posture. The pod hummed softly, supporting them both. As they settled, Liam whispered, "Tomorrow we'll try another adjustment. We'll keep learning." Zirak responded quietly, "Learning together, trust grows." Liam closed his eyes, feeling a sense of purpose. He had discovered the source of Zirak's pain, but more importantly, he had discovered how to care, how to observe, and how to build trust. And he knew that as long as he remained patient and attentive, they could face any challenge together. Outside, Orlaya's 7 twin moons glowed softly. Inside, a human and an alien shared a quiet, glowing pod, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. And for Liam, the lesson was clear. Understanding another being, truly understanding, was one of humanity's greatest strengths. The days following Liam's discovery of Zirak's pain were different. Their routine in the dorm had settled into a rhythm, and each night in the pod was a little easier than the last. Liam had learned to observe the subtle signals of discomfort, and Zirak had begun to trust him more. But what neither had expected was that this shared experience would lead to something deeper, a connection that went beyond pain, beyond tradition, beyond mere tolerance. One morning, Liam entered the dorm to find Zirak studying something on a small holographic panel. The alien's eyes flickered with soft light and his antennae twitched in concentration. "Good morning," Liam said quietly. Zirak glanced up and tilted his head. "Morning, human, observation continues." "Yes," Liam replied. "I noticed a pattern last night. Certain positions reduce your discomfort even more." He pointed gently toward the pod. "We can try it tonight." Zirak's antennae twitched, a signal Liam had learned meant approval. Good human learns, trust grows. That evening, Liam prepared the pod with the new adjustments. He added small, soft cushions to support Zirak's spine and adjusted the temperature slightly. Zirak moved slowly into position, curling carefully as Liam had observed before. "Better?" Liam asked softly, careful not to touch unless Zirak allowed. "Much better," Zirak replied. "Human attentive, good," Liam smiled. "I'm glad, I think we're learning from each other, too." Zirak's antennae twitched in curiosity. "Learned from human, explain." "Well," Liam said, settling into his side of the pod, "I've learned patience, careful observation, and a little about your culture. But I think I'm also learning how to see things differently, how to notice things I never would have on Earth." Zirak considered this. Different human perspective, interesting, valuable. That night, for the first time, they stayed in the pod without speaking much, just sharing quiet space. But in that silence, something shifted. Liam realized that empathy could be communicated without words. The very act of careful attention, of honoring the other's comfort, was a form of conversation. Over the next few days, Liam and Zirak began experimenting with small cultural exchanges. Liam taught Zirak some human gestures, a simple handshake, the thumbs-up sign, even a smile. Zirak responded with alien gestures, subtle movements of the fingers and antennae that Liam tried hard to mimic. Sometimes he failed, causing Zirak to twitch his antennae in amusement, which made Liam laugh quietly. One afternoon, they had a rare break from classes. Liam suggested, "Do you want to try something fun, something human?" Zirak tilted his head. "Fun, human, explain." "Just a game," Liam said. He pulled out a small ball he had brought from Earth. "We throw it back and forth. Simple, right?" Zirak studied the ball carefully. "Simple but unfamiliar. Try, yes." They began tossing the ball in the small space of the dorm. At first, Zirak struggled with the arc, the weight, and the timing. Liam offered tips gently, showing the right angle and force. Soon, Zirak began to adapt, using his multi-jointed fingers to catch and throw with surprising skill. "Impressive," Liam said, laughing. "You're a natural." Zirak tilted his head and emitted a soft hum, a sign Liam had learned indicated contentment. "Human teaches carefully." "Appreciated?" As the game continued, Liam realized something important. Care and patience were not just tools for comfort, they were tools for connection. By teaching Zirak a human game, he was learning Zirak's way of thinking and moving. They were exchanging more than gestures, they were exchanging trust. That night, as they entered the pod, Liam felt more relaxed than ever. He had learned the patterns of Zirak's discomfort and had adjusted the pod carefully. Zirak, in turn, seemed to anticipate Liam's movements, positioning himself naturally to reduce pressure on his spine. "Thank you, human," Zirak said quietly, his antennae flicking softly. "Comfort shared, trust builds." "You're welcome," Liam replied. "And thank you, too, for trusting me, for letting me help." Zirak's eyes glimmered faintly. "Trust, rare, humans capable, learned quickly." Liam felt a sense of pride, not for himself, but for humanity. Humans had the ability to adapt, to care, and to connect, even with beings completely different from themselves. It was a reminder that their species could survive, not through strength alone, but through empathy and understanding. The following week brought new challenges. Training exercises became more complex, and the duo faced tasks that required coordination, speed, and strategy. At first, Liam worried about Zirak's injury, but he was amazed at the alien's ingenuity. Zirak's careful movements, combined with Liam's human adaptability, allowed them to excel. They became known among their peers as a team that balanced strength with intelligence, speed with observation, and caution with creativity. One evening, after a long day of exercises, Liam suggested they try another cultural exchange. "Do you want to see something human?" he asked. Zirak's antennae twitched. "Yes, curious." Liam pulled out a small sketchpad and some colored pencils. "It's called drawing. Humans use it to show thoughts, ideas, feelings, even things we can't say with words." Zirak tilted his head, intrigued. "Interesting, show." Liam began to draw simple shapes, smiling faces, and small patterns. Zirak watched carefully, then began to replicate the shapes with surprising precision. The alien's fingers moved delicately, forming patterns that glowed faintly under his touch. Liam was fascinated. "You're very good," Liam said. "You have a natural talent." Zirak's antennae flicked in pleasure. "Human teaches well. Adaptation rapid. Fun, yes." They spent the evening drawing side by side, sharing ideas without words. The pod hummed softly, supporting them as they leaned close enough to see each other's work. Liam realized that this simple act, drawing together, was a form of communication, a bond stronger than any spoken language. Over time, they created a small routine. Even when training was hard, even when the dorm was noisy, they would find moments to share, teaching gestures, games, drawing, and small lessons from their respective cultures. Every night in the pod became a continuation of this exchange, a way to practice empathy, patience, and trust. One night, Liam spoke quietly. "You know, Zirak, I've learned something important. Humans are strong in ways we don't always notice. We can adapt, care, and understand. And I think that's why we can survive anywhere, even here, with so many different species." Zirak's eyes softened, and his antennae twitched slowly. "Yes, human capable, adaptation, empathy, rare, strength, learned quickly," Liam smiled. "And I've learned from you too. I've learned patience, careful observation, and the importance of trust. You're incredible." Zirak tilted his head. "Human compliments, rare, appreciated, trust builds, friendship grows." That night, as they settled into the pod, Liam felt a sense of deep satisfaction. Their shared space was no longer just a test of tradition. It was a space of learning, empathy, and friendship. The pod hummed gently around them, its soft light reflecting the subtle glow of Zirak's skin. Liam felt connected in a way he had never experienced before. As sleep approached, Liam realized that their bond had changed something fundamental. They had started with discomfort and mistrust, but now they shared understanding, care, and mutual respect. He felt proud, not for himself, but for humanity. Humans had the ability to reach across differences, to connect, and to build bridges where others might see walls. Zirak spoke softly, breaking the quiet. "Human, tomorrow, try new positions, reduce the pressure more." Liam nodded. "Yes, we'll keep experimenting. We'll get it even better." Zirak's antennae twitched in what Liam recognized as a faint smile. "Good human effort appreciated." Outside, Orla's 7 twin moons glowed softly against the sky. Inside, a human and an alien shared a quiet, glowing pod, learning from each other, teaching each other, and building a friendship stronger than pain, stronger than tradition, stronger than differences. And for Liam, that was the greatest lesson of all. Empathy, care, and understanding could bridge any gap, heal hidden pain, and transform a simple tradition into something extraordinary. The morning sunlight spilled through the dormitory windows, casting soft green and orange stripes across the floor. Liam awoke, stretched gently, and glanced at Zirak. His roommate was already awake, antennae twitching softly as he adjusted his posture. Liam felt a sense of quiet satisfaction. Over the past weeks, they had grown closer, learned to communicate without words, and had begun to understand each other on a deep level. But today felt different. Today was about achieving something new, finally solving Zirak's discomfort in the sleeping pod. "Good morning," Liam said softly. Zirak's eyes focused on him, dark and steady. "Morning, human, ready, attempt new adjustment." "Yes," Liam replied. "I think we can make it better tonight. I've been thinking about positions, cushions, and support points." "We can try a full solution." Zirak tilted his head. "Full solution ambitious, try yes." The day passed quickly. Classes were challenging, but Liam found himself more confident. He and Zirak worked together seamlessly in exercises, their trust in each other evident to everyone who watched. They anticipated each other's movements, covered weaknesses, and complemented strengths. The other students began to notice, nodding in quiet admiration. Humans and aliens alike recognized the effectiveness of their partnership. During a break, Liam pulled Zirak aside. "I think I have an idea for the pod tonight. It might finally reduce most of your pain. I want to try it with your permission." Zirak's antennae twitched, a signal Liam had come to understand as cautious approval. "Yes, attempt, trust, human, high." That evening, they approached the pod with careful preparation. Liam had designed a system of small cushions and supports. arranged in a way that would protect Zirak's spine while still honoring the tradition of sharing the sleeping space. He had also adjusted the pod's temperature zones, ensuring that both of them would remain comfortable throughout the night. "Ready?" Liam asked, his voice soft but steady. Zirak nodded slowly. "Yes, ready." They entered the pod. Zirak curled into the carefully arranged position, and Liam adjusted his own placement to give maximum space and comfort. The pod hummed softly, shifting gently around them. Liam held his breath, watching Zirak's reactions. For a moment, Zirak tensed slightly, then slowly relaxed. A small glow of satisfaction appeared in his skin, and his antennae twitched in something that Liam recognized as approval. "Better?" Liam asked quietly. "Much better human success," Zirak replied, his voice soft but steady. "Pain reduced, comfort achieved." Liam felt a wave of relief and pride. This was more than just a physical adjustment. It was proof that humans could adapt, empathize, and innovate. They had honored a tradition, respected another being's needs, and created a solution that worked for both species. As they lay together in the pod, Liam spoke softly. "I think this shows what humans can do. We can observe, adapt, and care. We can find solutions where others might give up." Zirak's antennae twitched in agreement. "Human, capable, strength, not just body, also mind, care, empathy, learned quickly." Liam smiled. "And I've learned from you too. Patience, discipline, careful observation, and how to communicate without words. You've taught me a lot." Zirak tilted his head. "Human learns, grows, bond, strengthened, friendship real." Outside, the twin moons of Aurelia 7 rose, casting their soft glow into the dormitory. Inside, a human and an alien shared a quiet, glowing pod, their connection now stronger than ever. They had started with discomfort and mistrust, but now they shared understanding, care, and mutual respect. Over the next few days, the dormitory took notice of the improvement. Other students began asking Liam and Zirak for advice on shared pods, curious about how they had managed to reduce discomfort while still respecting tradition. Liam explained carefully, emphasizing observation, empathy, and gradual adjustment. Zirak contributed in his own way, demonstrating subtle movements and positions that helped maintain comfort. Together, they became an example of cooperation between humans and aliens. One evening, as they prepared for bed, Liam spoke quietly. "You know, Zirak, I think we've done something important, not just for us but for others too. Maybe humans and aliens can learn to share spaces more comfortably to understand each other better." Zirak's eyes glimmered faintly. "Yes, human effort valued, tradition honored. Comfort achieved, example given, trust grows," Liam nodded. "I'm proud of what we've done, not just the pod, but us, our teamwork, our care, our understanding." Zirak's antennae twitched in a faint smile. "Human proud, appreciated, friendship strong, care mutual." That night, as they settled into the pod, Liam reflected on the journey. They had started with uncertainty, with fear and discomfort. Sharing a bed with an alien had seemed strange, even impossible. But through patience, observation, and empathy, they had not only solved a problem, they had built a friendship, strengthened trust, and created a model for humans and aliens to follow. Liam realized something important. Being human was not just about strength, intelligence, or technology. It was about understanding, compassion, and the ability to connect with others, even when they were different. Zirak's voice broke the silence, quiet but sincere. "Human remember, care, empathy, strength. Learned both benefit, tradition respected, pain reduced, bond real." Liam smiled softly. "Yes, Zirak, I'll remember, and I'll keep learning too, from you, from others, from life itself." The pod hummed softly, enveloping them in warmth and light. Liam and Zirak drifted into sleep, comfortable, safe, and connected. For the first time, both felt fully at ease, knowing that the challenges of culture, physiology, and tradition could be met with care, patience, and understanding. Over the following weeks, their success became a quiet inspiration within the academy. Humans and aliens alike began to experiment with small adjustments, learning to share pods with respect and care. Liam and Zirak were often asked to demonstrate their methods, and they did so patiently, always emphasizing observation, empathy, and communication. Through it all, their friendship continued to grow. They exchanged small stories, cultural lessons, and shared laughter. Liam taught Zirak simple human games and drawing techniques, while Zirak taught Liam alien gestures, language nuances, and ways to move with precision and care. Their exchanges were small but meaningful, and each day brought them closer. One evening, as they prepared for bed, Liam said softly, "Zirak, do you ever think about what it will be like when our training ends? When we leave the dorm?" Zirak's antennae twitched thoughtfully. "Future uncertain, but bond strong. Learned, humans capable, care, observe, adapt, friendship, real, remembered always." Liam nodded. "I'll remember too, and I hope we can continue learning from each other wherever we go." Zirak's eyes glimmered faintly. "Yes, human, journey together, value high. Care mutual." As they lay together in the pod, the soft hum of the device blending with their quiet breathing, Liam felt a deep sense of fulfillment. They had faced challenges, pain, and cultural differences, and had emerged stronger, wiser, and closer. Outside, Orlaya 7 moons glowed softly, a reminder that even in a vast and unfamiliar universe, understanding and empathy could bridge any gap. Inside, a human and an alien shared a quiet, glowing pod, embodying the very best of both species: care, ingenuity, trust, and friendship. And in that shared space, Liam realized that humanity's true strength was not in technology or muscles, but in the ability to care, to observe, to adapt, and to connect. That was the lesson he would carry with him for the rest of his life, and the gift he had shared with Zirak, his alien roommate, who had finally found comfort, trust, and friendship in the simple act of sharing a bed. The night passed peacefully. When the morning came, they awoke with calm smiles, antennae and eyes relaxed, ready to face the challenges of the day together. The pod was no longer just a tradition. It was a symbol of trust, understanding, and the extraordinary power of empathy in a universe full of differences. Liam reached over gently and touched Zirak's arm, a small, human gesture of friendship. Zirak's antennae twitched in acknowledgement, and the alien's skin shimmered faintly with appreciation. They would continue to face new challenges, explore new worlds, and encounter new beings. But Liam knew one thing for certain. As long as humans could care, observe, and understand, no difference would be too great, no challenge too difficult, and no bond impossible to build. And so, on Orlaya 7, in a quiet dormitory, in a glowing pod shared by a human and an alien, the story of patience, care, and mutual respect reached its first true triumph. Two beings, different in every way, had learned the same lesson. Empathy and trust were the most powerful forces in the universe.